Well, before I present the graduate awards and the class of 2015, I have just a few words for the graduates themselves. Though you will certainly come to understand this more and more, I don't think it's news to you that you're about to leave a very different environment than any you are likely to ever inhabit again. The way in which truth, beauty, and goodness have been uniquely valued here, and the time that you have been allowed to engage in these activities through conversation with one another and with us will have been formative for you all. And Jessica rightly connected these activities for us to seeking the kingdom of God. There is no pursuit of truth, no practice of goodness, no creation of beauty that does not begin and end in Him. We move through life as upon a river. Time carries us downstream. But God is both the source of this river, that hidden spring high in the mountains, and the vast ocean towards which it is inevitably drawn. So now this little tributary that you have known is about to merge with a larger one. But a large part of your success in navigating the new stretch of water ahead of you will depend upon how well you remember that our God is the Lord of all these waters. That's my first encouragement to you today. Whatever lies around the next bend for you, remember who is the Lord of these waters. And even if you find yourself someday shipwrecked and tossed up on the driest of deserts, if this Lord of the waters seems for a time to you no more than a mirage, remember that He has taken His people through deserts before, that as the psalmist reminds us, He once split rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink abundantly as from the deep. He made streams come out of the rock and caused water to flow down like rivers. The second encouragement I have for you as you prepare to move on to this new part of your life may be even harder for you to believe at times. But it's good to understand and to bring to mind often that your own well-being is a part of a much, much larger story. The story of the very kingdom of God you've been encouraged to seek. The story both of humanity striving to understand itself in this world and of God's intention to one day be all in all. So I encourage you to believe that each of your own particular, unique, idiosyncratic concerns are wrapped up in the concerns of all humanity. The story that you're living out, perhaps seemingly of your own independent will, is in a mysterious way a vital part of everyone else's story, and there's a part of yours. John Donne put this most famously in his Meditation 17. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. So the fears that keep you up at night or anxious during the day, the hopes that you rose with this morning, the dreams you have of a good life, those really are important beyond yourself. If it is true, as Augustine says, that our own restless hearts cannot find peace until they rest in the Lord, it is also true that humanity will not find peace until we rest together in the ways of the Lord. As Father Zosima taught in the words you have also lately wrestled with, all is like an ocean, all flows and connects. Touch it in one place, and it echoes at the other end of the world. Why would I encourage you to think like this? What does that mean for each of you? Well, first, it brings a great consolation that you will never be alone. Never just an isolated individual in a crowd of other isolated individuals. Your story is already inextricably bound up with the people in this room forever. And it is bound up with people you've yet to meet in your summer employments, during your years of college, on your missionary journeys and beyond. And the seemingly small things of the kingdom, personal forgiveness, simple kindness, expressions of gratitude, can, through the lives you touch, echo at the end of the world. Secondly, being a part of this larger story means that you always have great work to do. Just open a newspaper, or think of the situations you each researched for your World Issues project, or think of a single personal relationship that is broken and in need of healing. Choose any problem you would encounter, and think about what a challenge is before us if we're to work to bring peace to the world. If you take up the task that God has called us to be deep peacemakers in the world, you will always have great work to do. And finally, if you believe that God is actively at work in all of these circumstances you encounter, you will have the surest ground for confidence that ever can be. This does not mean that you will escape suffering, or even the deeper sorrow of being on this earth, of which James A.G. wrote. But it does mean that you may be able to come to say more and more fully with the Apostle Paul, "Since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God." May God bless you all on your journey.